I am Groot. 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 I'm Hayze, this is Armoured Brownies, and this is finally an update on my full-size Groot costume that I've been working on for an embarrassing amount of time. This is my own personal costume project, so I've been too busy working on like everything else you see me do on this channel whilst having a full-time job, whilst streaming and all of that. So I don't get much chance to progress this costume, but I can show you what I have so far. And to do so, you're going to get me in 3 different ways. So I'm going to introduce you to what I actually physically have up here. Then I'm going to talk about some of the construction-y things I've done in voiceover, and you're going to see me doing my first walking test of this costume. Also, stay tuned for channel news so you can actually keep up with me making this costume live. So, first off, we have a head. This is my head. You saw me wearing it earlier. It needs a bunch of moss and flocking on it to get it all nice and green around the tips, and I might shade it a bit better, but so far I'm happy with it.
And let's see how that head was made. So we start with the 2 halves of the fiberglass mold that I made from the sculpt quite a while back now. I'm just clamping them together. As anybody who's watched any regular crafters will know, these clamps are invaluable for a lot of mold making things. So we pour in all of the latex, swish it about a lot so it covers all of the surfaces, and then let it dry. And we do that multiple times. So we have a nice thick layer of latex that covers all of the details and will capture all of the details on the inside of the mold. Now, I mix up the 2 parts of the polyurethane expanding foam. This is a soft foam, not like the biscuit foam that you get for insulation, but this is a really soft kind of almost furniture foam style once it expands. And I sort of swill it about on the inside. It'll stick really well to the latex, and it slowly expands inside the head. And after about an hour, it'll be done. And as you can see, it kind of fills the whole thing up like a bucket. Before it gets worn, you need to trim down a lot of this foam so there's space for your own head in there and fit it around yourself. Now, once that's all set, it's just a case of trying to open the mold without tearing the latex head in half, and it's just a case of slowly prying it off, slowly working it off of the surface of the fiberglass, because latex is pretty sticky and there's nowhere for air to get in to release the suction pressure, and you're just slowly peeling it off without damaging it. And you can see it's a bit of a process, but once it finally gives way, you can see we have a raw, unpainted Groot mask ready to be used for your cosplay pleasure. That mask just needs a bit of trimming to take out all the latex flash, because I'll admit, this is a product of my first fiberglass mold, which means the mold lines aren't great, so you have to trim them down quite a lot and hide them. But overall, it's a great centerpiece for the entire costume. Now, back to myself.
If you like Groot and like this project, don't forget to like this video. It helps me out a lot. What we've also spent a bunch of time doing was all of the base foam on this costume. Now, you'll rightly look at that and say, that doesn't look much like Groot. But that's because it's not supposed to look like Groot yet. It's supposed to give me a nice solid tree-like base to start building up all the bark plaques on and start putting sculpted pieces of foam on. Because what I have all of this foam to start sculpting the rest of the costume out of. And then we'll be using Eva foam and LD45 to actually put some big bark plaques over it, which will have their detail sculpted into them, and they'll all be painted up, flocked and all of that quite nicely. As you can see, it was a lot of work to get all of this foam glued onto this body, but I had some help and we got through it in a couple of hours. And now this is what we have so far. But none of these are the main event. You guys want to see this. This was actually the beginning of summer, so it's been a little while since I've worked on this costume, but here you can see the first walking test of this costume put together. Put together. And it walks fantastically. I am amazed at how easy it is to move in this costume. I'm very experienced on stilts, so chances are that helps a lot. But you can see I can jump about, I can run about in it. And I can even deliberately fall, because all of you would be asking to see what it's like to fall in that costume. And See what it's like to fall in that costume. So that is where I am with this Groot costume. However, I did promise that you'd be able to watch along and see more of this costume get made. This Friday, the 16th of September, I will be streaming 12 hours straight working on this costume, maybe doing a couple of other things around the workshop, maybe doing a couple of other things around the workshop as well, but you get to see this costume progressing live and for 12 solid hours. During that stream, I'll be introducing you all for the very first time to my Patreon, so you're able to support my channel, because I want to put out more content for you. I love doing this. I want to do more stuff that you want me to do, but it's expensive. However, if you're part of my Patreon, you can come and chat with everybody else the whole night in the Discord chat, and we'll be talking more about that on the Friday live stream. Anyway, I hope you're excited about where this is going to go. I am as well. I cannot wait to build the rest of this costume, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for joining me, and goodbye.